All right, we made it, guys. Episode 35 of the Homestead Shop Talk podcast with Ben Hollar from Hollar Homestead, Al from Lumnah Acres, and myself, Jason from Sow the Land. And today is going to be one of those days. We're just going to see where it goes. And how has your guys' week been?
Crazy busy.
Same here. I think I got sunburnt the last couple days. It's been
In
nice
February.
and sunny.
I don't want to hear it.
It's been nice and sunny here. I mean, perfect weather. Have you got any sun, Al?
We've gotten sun, but it's cold right now. I think this morning it
Okay.
was 15, and then tomorrow morning I think it's supposed to be like 2.
2. Oh,
Yeah, it'll be chilly.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be like 29 for a high.
I think
yeah.
it's supposed to be 29 for our low tonight.
Be low tonight. Yep,
My phone said 70 degrees next week.
Shoo.
that'll be nice.
I don't know. It feels like the winter's done. It
Yep.
feels like we're done.
We're supposed to be 40s, I think, in a few days.
I'm waiting for that polar vortex.
Now, I know what I've noticed, especially with our cow, she did not get a very thick coat, like a very thick winter coat this year. And we've had a very mild winter.
That's interesting that you notice those kind of things. The more you do this, the more you have animals and stuff. Like back in the olden days, you see a furry caterpillar. You're like, uh-oh, these woolly caterpillars are extra woolly.
Right.
It's going to be cold.
Gonna be a cold one this year.
You know, like I had a hard time looking up because everybody's like, "Oh, you got to read the woolly worms." I actually found a chart and it like tells you. I think I got a screenshot on my phone somewhere. If they're all black, bad winter. If they're all red, no winter. This past fall, I saw a lot of all red woolly worms. So I don't know. It hasn't been a very hard winter, so I don't know.
No, it hasn't. I feel like we only had like 2 weeks of winter or something, and then it's been kind of like springish.
We had a lot of mud season at the beginning. And I think I've only had to plow maybe 3 times. We've had a couple like tiny 1-inch or 2-inch storms, and it's like I ain't bothered putting my plow in flat. I'm just gonna pack it down.
All right, so we've been working on foundation for our addition. I kind of wish we had bothered to like either borrow a backhoe or rent a backhoe or something like that to get those stumps out. But at the end of the day, it wouldn't have mattered. It is like an absolute mess of roots where these trees were right next to our house where we're trying to put in our footers. Basically, we just like got the measuring tape, got our string set up, figured out where every single one of these piers was going, marked it with spray paint, and then just took an axe, a pickaxe, and a shovel, and just carved a square hole down to the depth we needed. It was murder. Like it was absolutely horrible digging through. I mean, there was roots as big around as my waist that the deeper you go, the bigger they get. And it was just like, okay, we'll hack out this root, and you get through that root, and there's 5 more underneath. And so, yeah, it took us quite a few days to dig some of those holes. But we got that all done, got all of my forms in, we poured concrete, we ended up using about 4,000 pounds of concrete for all of our footers, and got that in, went and picked up all the block, got all the blocks set up, and because I don't have a long enough trailer, I have to order the material and have it delivered. That's not supposed to get here till Wednesday, I think. So I'm kind of at a standstill as of, recording this. Which is kind of a bummer because I can already feel my enthusiasm waning. I'm like, I was so gung-ho the past 2 weeks. It's just like, yeah, let's get out there first thing. Let's get started. And
Yeah.
like yesterday, we try to always take Sundays and just have truly downtime. And so I sat around all day yesterday and we just relaxed. And I got up this morning, like I had this weird anxiety, like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing anything. I didn't do anything all day yesterday. I'm going to get behind on our schedule. And then
Yes.
we ended up having a whole bunch of stuff go on today. We I don't know if I can talk about who we did an interview with, but we did an interview with a news agency. I'll tell you guys off the recording. But, that ate up most of the morning, and then just stuff like that. And we ended up not doing anything today either because By the time I finally got to Lowe's and got the rest of the block we needed and all of that stuff, it's already time to start getting ready for dinner. So, yeah, that was pretty much my week in a nutshell. Foundations are laid. I do actually have one pier that I must have missed. And once we set all the blocks, you can see, every single one of them nice and straight except for one. And it's like sitting 2 inches taller than the rest. I don't know how I missed it. So I'm going to have to dig that up, pull the concrete out of the hole, and I have to reset the forms and do it over, which is kind of a bummer, but pretty good. All things considering, only one has to be redone.
So what did you order for stuff from the Lowe's or Home Depot? Is that like your decking material?
So we're getting ready to build the floor. So that's a whole bunch of lumber, whole bunch of 16-foot lumber. The floor, let's see, the beams underneath, we're making our own beams, and it's just going to be 2x8s. And then the floor, because of the amount of piers we put in, we're doing 2x6s, which, that's what I'm currently sitting on, is a 2x6 floor. Ours will just be considerably stronger because of the amount of piers we put in. And then that'll be covered. The deck portion will have deck boards on it, and then the house portion, that'll have, we're going to deck that in Advantech. I don't know if anybody's ever worked with Advantech, but that is the best material I have ever worked with. It looks like particle board, but it is completely waterproof. You can leave it out in the rain. It won't swell up. There is a offcut from when I was building this, just like a little strip that laid out here in the flower bed for the past, it's been out there for almost 4 years. And it still says Advantech on it. It's still the same size. Like, I don't know what this stuff is, but it is some good stuff.
It's not mold.
No, they don't really mold. They just they get wet. You just wipe the water off, and you're good to go. I love that stuff. Yep. Best sheet good. Like, I like that stuff so much. I think of other places I could use it that aren't necessarily flooring, because it's so stiff, it's so sturdy, and it's almost impervious to water. But
did you already buy it?
Yeah, we ordered it today.
Because I'm saying Home Depot has another brand called Georgia Pacific, and it's the same exact stuff, but it's usually a lot cheaper. I've been trying to scratch my head and figure it out, because we've used Advantech before, and then when we were building our house, I was searching around because it was super expensive during COVID, and it was like $20 or $30 a sheet cheaper for Georgia Pacific brand, and it's still been that way. I don't know why.
I'll have to look into that.
It's only our Home Depot. Lowe's doesn't stock it, but Home Depot has Advantech and Georgia Pacific, and it's like $20-$30 a sheet cheaper. I'm like, that makes no sense.
I'll have to look into it. I know the warranty with Advantech is really good.
Yep.
But when I saw the price, like, we bought everything when we were redoing this mobile home, and we paid about $40 a sheet for that stuff. And there is a spot in our shed out here that I wanted to put some Advantech, because the floor was didn't have any holes, but it was getting there. And so I went to go buy Advantech, and it was $80 a sheet. I about fell over when I saw that. It was like, are you kidding me? It was like $88 at the highest I ever saw.
Wow.
When we did the barn floor in Advantech, and I paid about $80 a sheet for it. That was painful. But now it's back down to around $40, so I'm not crying about it.
So the Georgia Pacific is $30.
That's pretty good. Wow. I'll have to look into it. Do they have the same warranty
it's
stuff?
Got the same warranty. It's got the same warranty and everything. So we used it in the Harvest House for the second floor, and it got rained on. We haven't had an issue. I left a bunch of it outside to see, and never had an issue. And then I used it again. We were doing the little roof area that we have, like the powerhouse and stuff in the workshop. But I don't know why. It's just our Home Depot that has it. Lowe's doesn't stock it.
Man, if we had a Home Depot a little bit closer, I miss Home Depot. Yeah. It's just it's one of those things, driving an hour versus, Lowe's is right here.
Makes a big difference.
Yep. It's that convenience thing. You get used to your convenience, and they could jack the prices on you, and you wouldn't know, because that's the only place you shop.
Yeah, we're spoiled. We have ours like 500 feet, maybe a half mile from each other. Home
That's how
Depot
it was. That's how it was back in California. They were across the street from each other. It's like, oh, Lowe's doesn't have it. I'll just walk across the parking lot and
Yep. That's how ours is. You got to take a left out of Home Depot and you go about a half mile and there's Lowe's. It's like perfect.
I tell you what I wish we had was a Menards. I would give Menards my money. I love Menards.
I've never been to one. Did they have them in California?
No.
No.
The only place we found them was, kind of out here. I think the nearest one is like in Virginia or something like that. It's like
Okay.
6 hours away from here. But yeah, they it's like the store that Lowe's and Home Depot both wish they could be.
Why don't they be?
And they have a lot of animal stuff too, don't they? I feel like for some reason. Is there like a little bit of Tractor Supply mixed in with them or no?
That I'm not sure on. All I ever saw was all of their the home stuff. When we were traveling the country, we didn't really need a whole bunch of lumber or anything like that. But I remember walking around the store just exploring it, and it's just like Lowe's or Home Depot, but set up smarter, I guess. It made more sense. But yeah, that's pretty much my week in a nutshell.
So how about you, Al? What'd you do?
So we had some warmer weather over the weekend. It was like 50. That felt nice for us on Saturday. So my wood boiler will stay going. So if it gets really hot like that quick, our furnace won't call, the wood boiler won't call for heat to heat the house. So the fire went out. So I was like, oh, no big deal. I'll relight the fire. You relight it and then you hit cold mode. So it lets it burn like a regular fire and not a gasifier. And I never thought nothing of it. That night I went out to let the dogs out and it's still making the noise. And I'm like, all right, this has been going on like half the day at least. So there's two dampers on the back that open up to let airflow in. Well, the bottom one would open, but the top one wouldn't. And the top one is where the firebox is. So it wasn't letting the fire burn. So I'm like, okay, it's 9 o'clock at night on a Saturday night. You can't get a hold of nobody. So I'm like, okay, I just cracked it with like a little bit of a pry bar, just like get a little bit of airflow in so it would stay heating. Because I'm like, we at least need hot water in the morning and I don't want nothing to freeze. It was only going to get like, I think 34 overnight. So it wasn't bad. So then the next day was Sunday, of course. So I get a hold of the guy and I'm like, this is what's going on. He's like, all right, take the back off. It's probably just filled up with creosote and it won't let it spin. He's like, so take it all apart, unplug it when you have it apart, and then plug it back in. There's an actuator on the back. He's like, once you have it apart, it should automatically go to move. He goes, if it doesn't go to move and it goes click, click, you need a new actuator. He's like, but, over the hundreds of burners I've done, I've replaced one or two. So it's just going to be creosote. So I take it off, unplug it, plug it back in, and I hear click, click. I'm like, oh. And here it is a Sunday morning. The local guy's like, or I shouldn't say the local guy, the guy I originally bought it from, my closest dealer, is like 3 hours away. And I'm like, ugh. So I'm like, all right. He's like, I'll meet you halfway. So I'm like, all right. And then he called me back. He's like, there's a new dealer, which I think is a half hour from us. So we ended up getting one. But I had, like it's Sunday morning. Like, I was like, I'm eating breakfast. I'm like, that's fine. So it wasn't until like noontime we got it. But we got it. We replaced it. And I called my dealer that I originally dealt with. And I'm like, order me another one. I want to have a second. I want to have a backup on hand. Yeah. It's a 5-minute fix. But it was just, I spent half the day running around and getting the parts. So luckily, for us, it was warm. It was like 34, 40 during the day. So that's warm for us. So we really didn't need the heat. It was kind of like, ugh. It could have been worse. Could have been like negative 20.
Yep.
It was sunny out and windy. I guess I can't complain. We've had that running for, I think this will be our third season, I think. And, it runs year round for our hot water and everything. So we've had to replace, that's the first part we've had to replace on the furnace. So I can't complain. But it's just one of those things that happens like on a Saturday night, Sunday.
Of course.
That's
When
always
everything's closed.
the way it works.
Yep. And everything's closed. But luckily,
yeah,
the two dealers were really decent. They were willing to, work with me. I'm like, I thought that was good of them on a Sunday afternoon or Sunday morning. You try to figure out like your local stores, like the local plumbing departments. Nobody's open on a Sunday. So if it wasn't for if it wasn't for having the phone numbers of the dealers, I would have been SOL till Monday.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, for where you're at, man, you can't. You have to have that working.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
what are you going to do? You're not going to have heat. Your house is going to be cold, and you'd have to drain it. Because I didn't put glycol in it, so it's just water. So if it gets too
It'll
cold, it'll
freeze.
freeze if it's not running. So glycol is like an antifreeze you can put in it. It was gonna cost me, I think, $2,000 for glycol because during
Wow.
COVID, petroleum prices went up. They're like, yeah, before COVID, it would have been like $200-300. They're like, now you're looking at like
What?
$2,000. They're like, you can just go buy a backup furnace, install a secondary furnace cheaper than you can just to put glycol in. So
Is it like your tractor tires where you add, antifreeze or beet juice? Could you use beet juice?
I don't think you can use beet juice. And so like the other part is you want to make sure whatever, and even the glycol is corrosive. So like you got to keep an eye on it, and it might not last. You might have to trade it out because if it goes corrosive, it can eat the inside of your burner, and then your burner will get holes in it. So it's kind of like just spend the money to have to dump it out or replace it. It's like not for that kind of money. I'll take a chance, I
Yeah.
guess. So that was the
Well,
start of my week. Then we've been
Did you ever
working
get that
on.
smoker in?
I just went and picked it up today. It finally showed up. I didn't.
The
I
smoker?
just got it. Just got it. I haven't. I unloaded it out of the truck. It's in the workshop, so I haven't opened it up. And it runs on wood chips, not wood pellets.
Ooh, with chips.
Wood chips. So tomorrow I'll open that up and I'll fire it up for the first time. I gotta run it once or twice to kind of just like clean it out and get that new smell out of the inside because it's stainless steel. So that way we're not getting that taintedness in the meat. Then we've been working on the barn, but that's kind of just, I don't want to say same old, but been working on it. But my other fun thing is I've been searching Facebook Marketplace for a few items. What do you think I found?
No telling. Probably something
telling.
fun.
I found a 6 foot by 7 foot walk-in cooler.
Nice.
So what do you think that would go for?
I don't know. Facebook Marketplace, 6 foot by 7 foot. You probably paid something ridiculously low for it. What'd you pay? Like $200?
2,000? 2,000?
So I see them anywhere from like $3,000 to $8,000. This guy was asking 500. I was like, yeah, I got to go for a ride.
What?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? Like, what is it? Is it what? All metal? All aluminum? Or what is it?
So it's whatever aluminum on the outside and inside, and then it's full of foam in the center.
Okay.
It's all taken apart. It has a floor. It has the roof. I'm gonna build something like a regular building for it to go in for outside,
Yeah.
so I can move it around better. I was like, yeah, I gotta go pick that up.
It was probably like a legit freezer or something, or a fridge.
It was.
Like
It came out of a restaurant. So it was an outdoor. It was outdoors. It was an outdoor one. It's one of the older styles, I guess. I
Yeah.
guess, but it came out of the restaurant. I don't know why they took it out. This guy bought it, and he planned on putting it in his basement because he likes, cutting up deer and making deer sausage and hot dogs and stuff. But he said he's got too many projects going on. It's been sitting in the yard for a year. But I'm like, I'm
that
not even
price?
gonna. Yeah, I'm like, I'm not even gonna like mess with you. Here's the $500. I'm like, it cost me more money in foam to go build my own.
Yeah.
Did they have a door?
Yep, it's got the door.
Oh,
It's got,
What a steal.
but,
the door alone is probably $500.
yeah, it's an older one, so they had to cut it apart. So I guess back when they originally made it, they made them like there's joints, but they put it all together, and then in the factory they filled it up with foam. So it got delivered in one piece, but when they were taking it out, it was like in an alleyway, and it wouldn't fit through the alley anymore. So we had to cut it with a sawzall in the joints. So it's in four pieces. It's easy to go back together. I have an idea what we're gonna do to make it look a little different because I don't want to just have a metal box in the yard. But
Yeah. Is that going in one of your buildings?
no, I'm gonna have it outside on skids. I
Oh,
want to be able to move it around.
That'd
So
be
another
cool.
thing, yeah, I was just on CoolBot today. What is it? StoreItCold.com or whatever for a CoolBot. And I'm like, oh, I'll see what size air conditioner I need. So it was like between a 12 kW, a 12 BTU, 12,000 BTU and a 14,000 BTU. So I'm like, I'll Google it. Home Depot right now, they're like 40% off. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to buy that now.
Man, it was meant to be. You get the
Right.
walk-in.
walk-
Home Depot has the ACs on sale because it's the middle of winter. Like, the stars aligned for that one.
And they're going to deliver it to my house for free. I feel bad for the UPS man
yes.
tomorrow. because he's got to deliver a 14,000 BTU freezer. I mean, air conditioner.
Oh man,
I'm like,
That's
free
me, Al.
shipping and everything. You can't go wrong,
sounds like you're gonna have a butcher workshop at your house.
right? We got the smoker coming. We got the walk-in cooler. We're gonna do the root cellar, I hope, this year. But I think this is
Yeah.
like the year of like food preservation and food growing.
I think Ben needs to go over there and butcher some pigs.
I
Hey.
just found out. So you guys follow Hinchute Farm.
Oh yeah.
So do you? I don't know. One of the guys that they do a lot of stuff with is called like Doctor Smokehouse or Doctor Smoke or something like that. He used to be in Pennsylvania. They've gone and done a lot of like charcuterie classes and learned, I think, a lot from him for charcuterie because he used to go over to like Europe and stuff and learn. Well, I just learned he moved to Maine, so they're going to be in Maine a couple of times, I think, this coming year for charcuterie classes. So I'm like, okay. I think it's like a 3-hour road trip. So I'm like, I guess I'll be going there this fall, maybe.
Yeah.
Do it. It's I probably shouldn't talk about it, but we booked them for this winter, so we're gonna do our classes and have them out for one of them this winter. So we're all excited about that. It's a good time. They were just in North Carolina like 2 weeks ago, and
Yep.
I actually thought about buying a ticket and just driving the 2 or 3 hours to that class just so I could attend one again.
Yep. Yep. We've had two, and they're always a good time. You
Yeah.
always learn something new. Are you doing the charcuterie one at your place, Ben?
I'm not sure which one we're doing. It's the same class that we've done with them twice now.
Okay.
The basic.
The basic one.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know they've restructured how they do their classes. There's like more options for what you can do. They have like a 2-day or a 3-day and a 4-day now.
Yep.
The idea of a 4-day workshop, that is intimidating. That'd be a lot.
Yes.
Like 3 days is already enough, but yeah, 4-day workshop. Whew.
Have you gone to one that you haven't put on from them?
No, we've only done
Me neither.
ones.
We did the two at our house, but I want to go to one as an observer and not as the person who's putting the class on, because it takes
Yes.
a lot to put the class on. Like, you're learning, but you're keeping an
You're
eye
also
on everybody.
hosting. Yeah.
Hosting, you're organizing, you're making sure they have everything they need. So
That's different.
yeah, it's a busy 3 days. You're tired at the end.
That'd be like
That's
a little
for sure.
vacation for you.
Yeah, it'd be fun. I'm like, I'm gonna go. I probably won't bring the camera, or if I do, I'll just, but I'm just gonna go and have fun. That's kind of the plan. So that's kind of what I've been up to this week. Now I'm trying to brainstorm trying to figure out how to build. I have ideas, but I want to figure out how to exactly build the cool room. But I want to make it look nice. I don't want to just have a silver box in the yard. So just trying to brainstorm ideas and get that figured out. I think that'll be the next project during our mud season.
I think making it movable would be a good move. I mean,
Yep.
I like my movable cooler
Yeah.
just to have that option.
Yep. So that's one question I want to ask you, Ben. Do you know how long your stair was if you were to hang them up?
Ooh.
Look.
Longer than my tractor could lift, I can tell you that much. He was probably, I don't know, Jason, what would you think? Maybe, hooking him with a gambrel and picking him up from the Achilles, he was probably every bit of like 12 feet long, all
I would
stretched
say
out.
at least. Well, the cow that we did, the steer that we did, Ben, here at our place. So my barn is, when we hoisted him up, that barn right there, that bar is 12 feet high, and his head was barely still on the ground.
So like,
So,
if you were to
I
hang
think
them,
yours was bigger. I think yours was longer though.
if you were
Yeah,
to
he was
hang them after, like if they were halved, how long do you think they would be? You know what I mean? So if you were hanging them in the cooler,
With no head.
with no head and you
No
had the legs
head, and you take the legs off, I don't know, 8 feet?
10 feet?
Yeah,
Eight, 10
between
feet.
8 and 10 feet. Like a dairy breed's really, really long. They're
Yep.
long and lean.
Yeah.
Whereas like a beef cow is short and squat. So, I mean, you're thinking ahead for your the calf that you guys currently have, right?
Yeah. So I'm thinking like trying to figure out how much room to make to have it hang. So I'd have to quarter it I'd have to half it and then cut each half in half to hang it in the cooler, because the cooler is under 8 feet headroom.
So when we quartered ours, the front quarters, they were just big. But the back quarters were so long, I would say after taking the foot off, from that bottom joint up to the top of the round, that cut was probably around 5 feet in length. So, like Jason's trailer, what do you have, about 5 feet inside that trailer?
Yeah.
And there was no way we could hang any of those cuts from that cow inside that trailer. We had to lay them down on stuff. No. So, yeah, give yourself, enough room, but it's probably going to be like us. You're probably going to have to quarter it.
Yeah, I'll have to quarter and hang it. And then I got to figure out, because I want to be able to hang stuff in there. And right now it's just a metal ceiling with foam in between. So I'm like, I got to figure out a hanging system so you can hang, quarters of, halves of pigs and quarters of cows, and make it so it can hold the weight. I don't know if I want to try to do a dolly, like a rail system, and have 2 rails, so you can have like 2 halves or 2 quarters on each side.
You'd have to have like some kind of hoist.
Yep. Well, I didn't know if I had like a dolly system, if you had it coming out, like if this was the doorway entrance, if you had it sticking out the doorway, so you could come over with your tractor and then stick your little rails in the dolly and then push it in.
Oh.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, you don't want to be with like a ladder trying to lift it up or nothing.
No, a pig is heavy enough. Half. Never mind that. Never mind a cow.
I think our quarters were around 300 pounds a piece, so that's a little bit much to be lifting.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm just trying to plan that stuff.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, definitely like a trolley system to hang them and move them. That would be ideal.
Yep.
I know, like ideally, like when I took the half of beef to a processor, they have the nice chain hoist.
Yep.
That comes down from the ceiling, and then they hooked it up, pushed it back up in the ceiling, and hoisted it up, and then it was already on a trolley, and they just took it in the freezer or cooler. Yep. So nice, but I know those chain hoists are super expensive, but that'd be awesome to have.
So how many classes you plan on doing this year, Ben? 3 again? 2 yourself, and then
that's dependent on how many pigs we get. I got a friend where I'm in talks with. Supposedly he's got some piglets coming, and I did some of his pigs back in 21, and they're like a Hampshire Berkshire mix, and I really liked them. The pork was great. So I hit him up. I was like, hey, you have any piglets? And he was like, actually, I got a sow that's farrowing in the next week or so. I'll let you know. So if I can get pigs from him, we're planning on doing at least 3 classes, one of them being hand-hewn. But I'll also have guinea hogs that'll probably be ready. So I don't know. We won't have a cow that's ready, so that kind of lightens the workload. Great. But yeah, as of right now, we're really planning 3 classes again. I know people are blowing us up already asking if they can sign up yet.
Are you going to do chickens like you did again last year? Are you going to try to space those out so they're not so close to the pigs again?
No, we'll definitely do the chickens at the end of the year, but we're going to do way less chickens. We're going to get back to a twice a year schedule on the chickens, and we'll just do less chickens each time, because 100 chickens on one day is kind of miserable. Plus, like, butchering your chickens, unless you're teaching a class, asking your friends to come help butcher chickens is kind of like, asking your friends to help you move. Nobody really wants to do that.
You have to get friends that don't do chickens at all, that don't raise chickens.
But then they usually don't care too much about food. So they'll do it once.
Well, I think what's funny, like if you go in with people and you raise all of them, and then they pay for part of the feed, and then they come help butcher, that's been the best deal we've done.
So I had a funny dream. Speaking of cured meats.
Is it like pigs flying again, or pigs swimming in pools?
No. This time in my dream, I was in Italy.
Ooh.
I was playing in an orchestra, right? Like I was playing the violin. And I was good in my dream. I was a good violin player in this orchestra, right? And after we were done, there was a ton of people there, and they were just throwing cured meats at me, like like telling me like, yes, you're great, and like throwing cured meats at me, and then they were giving me raw milk. This is totally in my dream. And I brought a big cooler with me because I was going to take it on the plane home. And so I was like, fill up the cooler. And like, yes, give me your cured meats. And like, they're throwing meat in the cooler and raw milk. And then I just grabbed that whole cooler and I went on the plane, and that was it. I don't know where that came from.
That's an interesting dream. Do they do that in Italy? Do they throw cured meats at violinists that are really good?
I don't know. That'd be awesome if they did.
Would that be considered like an insult, or is that high praise?
That's high praise. In my dream, it was high praise.
Right.
It was like, yes, more. Like you're throwing flowers at me.
Yeah, like throwing roses at him.
Yes, it was pretty awesome. I was like, man, that was a good dream.
Yep.
I think probably why, because I had that dream, is because we finally our cured ham that we did, right, that was hard as a rock, we busted out my slicer, and we sliced it on the slicer, and man, it was bogging that thing down. Like, it was having a hard time of cutting that meat. But it did a lot better than my knife did. So I sliced it off some stuff because I wanted to send some to my dad. He's out in Arizona, and so I sliced them off. We vacuum sealed it, and we shipped it off to him in the mail. So he should be getting it soon. That's probably why I had that dream, but it's kind of funny.
Dreaming of cured meats.
Yeah. So this week too, man, I've been doing fencing a lot, been doing a lot of fencing videos, and so I'm starting to head back up the property, and I was this close of renting, like, I don't know what, like a tractor, something that has an auger, and I even called the rental place, and all they had was those little stand-up skid steer looking things.
Yep.
I don't even know what they're called, but I guess they had that, and that has an auger you could rent. I almost rented it, and then I mentioned it to Ben, and Ben's like, hey, why don't you just borrow my tractor? So Ben, okay, so compared to doing this how I was with like a one-man auger, right? So you letting me borrow the tractor with an auger, I felt like I was on vacation for the last 2 days. I was like I felt so relaxed, and like my body wasn't aching. And I was like, this is so nice. I feel like I literally felt like I was on vacation. So, man, thank you so much. You're a lifesaver.
Man, good. I was kind of curious. I hadn't heard from you. It was like, well, I mean, he hasn't hit me up that he broke something, so maybe I wondered if maybe you hadn't even used it and you were just waiting for the week. You were just taking the weekend off. No, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad it made your life easier. Sure beats busting your back.
Oh man, like it was so night and day, like all day, pretty much all day yesterday, and then I worked on some of it today, and I drilled in like 20 holes. I had to plan it more, because I had to, I don't have the tractor forever, so it's like I gotta make sure I gotta know where to put the holes, and and I did, and then I even took out some poles that I wanted to take out. I was like, I'm gonna see how this tractor does, and it did really good. I was like, I think I took out 3 poles in like 30 minutes. I was like, oh my gosh, like, and I didn't feel tired.
I bet.
Like, it felt like that's a workout with a one-man auger, and then when you drive that tractor, I mean, I'm not. That's the first time me using an auger, so to me it felt like a video game. Like that was like a video game versus a workout with a one-man auger. So it's kind of fun.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that.
So yeah, man. Yeah, it was great. I mean, that thing did everything that I needed it to. I haven't had any problems. I didn't get caught up in any roots or nothing or rocks. I mean, it went pretty good.
Good.
So yeah, that's.
How long did it take you to get the hang of the wiggliness of that auger? Did you figure it out first, second hole?
Yeah, it probably took about 5 holes, and then I was like, all right, I think I understand it now. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. At first, it can be a little intimidating because I'm not comfortable with it, but it's not rocket science, you know. Once you get going, it's pretty easy. I know, it's just like, man, this is so nice. Even like that, what is that? The grapple that you have dude, that thing, like, because I was chopping down these trees as I was doing the fencing, so I had all these random trees everywhere, and I was like, I'm gonna round them up, see if I could do it with this thing, and I was just like picking them up, you know. I was like, I wish that grapple would like turn.
Yeah, me too. I wish you could turn it sideways, rip trees out of the ground with it.
Yeah, and just like grab it like a hand and just like pick it up. That would be awesome.
I had a feeling like that grapple was a
too.
game changer for me too. That was why I brought it.
Yeah. Well, it just made me realize, like, man, eventually I'm gonna get a tractor one day, and you know, having a grapple, man, I definitely probably would get that. Plus the auger. I mean, those things are great to have.
They make it a attachment like a tree puller. You can go on the front and it'll clamp it like a set of forks, but it clamps. So you can pull your tree out.
I'm going to have to look for that. Like,
really?
I might invest in that.
Yeah. If you got small trees, like up in your pig area and stuff, you can just go right up, clamp onto it, and then just pick it up and roots and all come out.
Oh, man.
Yep.
Yeah, see, that stuff, like, how do you know that stuff even exists? You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
If you've thought about it, someone has built it for a tractor, I guarantee.
You're like, I wonder if it has this. Then you have to do a Google search.
Search.
I don't know. I don't even know what you're typing in, but you're just like typing random words and see what pops up. So it's just kind of cool. I've been doing that for the last, a couple of days using Ben's tractor. So, and then it's hard to film that and then run the tractor because then you got to stop the tractor, set the camera, and then that's so difficult.
Yes.
I mean, I have my GoPro, so that's helped. So I am filming it, but it's not easy. But unfortunately, when you're out there doing the stuff and you're filming the stuff, that means I'm not editing the stuff. So that means I'm not posting a video.
Getting backlogged.
Yeah. I'm gonna be 2 weeks behind. So for people listening, it's coming. It's just taking some time.
So now you're gonna do all of the holes at once? Are you doing the holes and the posts at the same time, or has your strategy changed with the tractor?
Yeah, I was kind of going like doing it as I went.
Yep.
But now that I had the tractor, I did all the holes. I'm sure I missed a hole. I'm sure. I would think I'm not perfect, and I'm probably gonna miss something. So I just thought whatever I think I need as far as a hole, and I just did it all. And then I still have to go get the pole material, so I don't have that now. And then eventually I got to get the poles and then I'm gonna pop them all in the hole, and then after that start doing the wire, or do the corners and stuff, and then do the wire after that.
So you got to meet your deadline?
Probably not.
Come on.
Probably not. What is that? My chickens come in like 20 days.
20 days.
And that was my deadline. Yeah. So now I think I'm going to switch it up, and I'll probably end up putting a halt on the fencing and then finish the high tunnel. So at least we could, now that it's warming up, so hopefully we could finish that at least, or at least get that to a good stopping point, and then, bring in soil and stuff. But I'm already, it always happens. I'm already having people telling me that they got sheep available if I want them. Like these random phone calls that I get and emails every time around this time. I was like, see, it's coming. This is why I need to get this done.
Use that tractor as much as you need. There's nothing pressing I need it for. It's like,
well, that's good to hear.
So it's all good. Like, I am so tied up with my project, I don't have time to drive the tractor right now. So like,
because that last 2 days, I was like, man, I bet you Ben needs it, because I know you're building that house, and I was like, man, I bet you he needs this. Like, I gotta get this done.
No, actually, like when the wood shows up, I think on Wednesday, like I'm gonna be carrying it board by board, me and the boys, around the corner because it's kind of a hard spot to get to by tractor. There's not a lot of room to turn the tractor around. So we're going to be moving boards by hand anyways. So like, no, you're good. Just get what you need done.
All right. Yeah, I'm definitely using that auger. And it's super helpful. Just right now, before we got on the podcast, we started planting our first seeds. I think we're about a week late, but not too bad. And so
what'd you get started?
Those. What did we get started? Lettuces, tomatoes, peppers, like cilantro. What else? Like kohlrabi.
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 Something like that.
Help me. It wasn't too much, but we wanted to get something started, and so that's why I need to get that high tunnel done too.
Yep.
Because also I need water to that high tunnel because we're not gonna, I'm gonna plant and then we're gonna have to figure out how to water it.
So something I've wondered if I could do, I've thought, like I've seen a couple people do it. They'll take like a bottom plow, which is like a real big spike, and they'll rig up a spool on the front of the tractor of some way of holding their tubing, and they got it rigged up to where as they drag that bottom plow, that ripper, it opens up a hole and they feed that wire into that hole, and then the dirt collapses right back as soon as that plow passes by, now burying your line. We could do that here. Our frost line's only 6 inches. We could come up with a bottom plow that would dig down, 1.5 feet and just drag the tractor along. You wouldn't need to rent a trencher. Yep. You could trench, pipe, and backfill all in one step.
That'd
I don't
be
know.
awesome.
That's something I've thought
that.
about.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen that or someone mentioned that to me before. I've never seen it. I don't think I've ever seen that done. But I wonder. It sounds like it would work. On paper, it sounds like it would work.
You guys are mostly clay too, so I don't think you'd have too much of an issue with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little compacted, but I would think if you had something really heavy duty to dig into that dirt, that might work. It'd be one of those fun videos to try out.
Yeah. Watch me fail miserably at this experiment.
Hey, sometimes the field videos come out even better. People like those.
Yeah. But yeah, that's about it. I mean, we're just trying to get all those holes put in and stuff.
That's
but
a
I don't know.
bunch.
I think I don't know. I feel like spring's already here. Like I don't see it getting cold again.
See, this is what all the locals call fall spring. What happens is you get all your plants started, and it is warm. Like it is warm for another like 3
Super
weeks. And you're like, spring is here, plant the garden, and then you plant everything out, and it drops down to 20 degrees and just kills everything, and you have to start over.
I mean, it's getting cold at night. It's getting 20s at night, 30s. But like during the day, it's so nice. I don't
Enjoy it.
Cold.
This is the weather I live for. I love when it's like 60 degrees, like it's cool breeze. The air's got that crisp, clean feel to it. I mean, it's like this part of spring and fall are this is the weather I live for.
This is when you guys get me jealous because I'm like cold and snowy. But then our summers are like this time of the year for you guys. So like we'll get like 90s for a couple of weeks, but other than that, we're like 70s, 80s. That's why I'm like, I like that weather.
Yeah.
I don't want to have hundreds and 90s all the time during the summertime. I like the cooler working weather. But.
See, I think what's funny is like coming from California out here, like it's really not that hot. Like it sucks when it's 95 degrees, but it's like you were saying, it's only that way for a little bit, and then we get these thunderstorms that roll through every single day, and it'll be 95 and hot by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and by 4, thunderstorm rolls through, and it'll be 70 degrees the rest of the day. So yeah, I'm cool with it. It kind of sucks sometimes, but it's cool.
It changes. It
It changes, yeah.
Right.
That's what I love. That's what I love about it. So remind me, Ben, if you really want that freezer.
You got pallet forks to load it now.
Actually, the pallet forks are still here. I couldn't fit them on the trailer.
Yeah, but I did wash it out for you. If you still want that
Did you?
freezer, you could come and check it out. You could come check it out. But I did, yeah, I tipped that thing over, and it was a sludge. Like it was,
Yuck.
I don't even know what it was in there. It was probably just old feed and horse feed or something that didn't decompose. It was just a sludge, but I don't want the freezer, so you could have it if you want it.
Tell you what, I could probably pick the pallet forks up with, all the boys, and we could set it on the trailer, and then we could go over there, pick up the pallet forks with the tractor, get the thing loaded, and then I can just slide that thing off over by the barn and check it out. So yeah, we might do that.
Yeah, just whenever. Yeah, whenever. But
yeah, I don't know if I'm crazy for wanting to check that freezer out. Like if it works, that would be cool. I mean, I've seen it.
Want it to work.
I've seen it in person. Like it is a pretty haggard freezer. I don't know if I'd want to put food in there, but I mean, at the very least, I could set it up and use it for feed storage. Rodent-proof feed storage.
For sure, you could do it for that. If anything, I don't need it for feed storage because I have my metal barrels. So it looked like something chewed the cord in half.
Probably whatever groundhog or possum was living under there.
I mean, it looked chewed. Like I looked at the cord and it was like, because it's cut in half, but it looked all mangled.
Lucky it didn't burn the barn down.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if it was unplugged already or what.
Well, then we'll definitely figure out a time to get over there and pick that thing up.
So do you have any breeder pigs lined up this year, Jason? Or are you just going to be doing the coonies?
No, I think I'm just going to be doing the coonies.
Yep.
I think I'm going to be up to here to Cooney. It's going to be Cooney Town.
Will they be ready to harvest this coming fall?
Yeah, four of them.
Okay, 4 of them.
I hope so, because I'm doing it anyways.
You're going to need the meat, right?
I'm going to need the meat, probably, yeah. And, I'm just ready to move on, like it's time. No matter how little or big they are.
Right.
It's going to be interesting what they end up being, but, she should be having more babies in a month from now. So, we're timing it right. Every year we're going to be butchering pigs, and that's what I've always wanted to do. Have pigs born, or any animal really, born on your property, and then you raise them, butcher them. We'll probably sell some too, but we'll see where we go. And then we have 75 chickens coming in 20 days.
I ordered turkeys for this season.
Oh, nice. How many?
10.
You might lose 8.
I know. But if I get like 20 or 25, I won't lose any.
I know.
And then I'll have a lot of turkeys.
I think it's funny. Turkeys are one of those things I kind of want to do again, but at the same time, I haven't wanted to because it's like a whole separate set of animals that you're taking care of. But probably this spring, if I walk into like Tractor Supply and they have turkeys, I probably will come home with a few of them. Like I don't want to order them, like because usually there's a minimum amount of like 10 or 15.
Yeah, 10.
I don't want to order them, but like if they're there and I'm there, like it might happen.
Right.
They look at you.
Yeah, they look at me just right, like, hey, take me home.
When does your Tractor
They're there.
Supply,
I'm there.
when does your Tractor Supply start stocking them?
I think March. I think the turkeys will be a little bit later, but yeah, it's pretty soon.
Okay, I think ours start stocking them at the same time because like we get like they start stocking chicks and it's like it's still snowing out here. Who can raise up baby chicks? Like, why are you doing it in the middle of winter still? And I'm like, it must just be like they must just do all the Tractor Supplies at the same time.
Yeah, that's cool.
We ordered 20 turkeys this year.
20 turkeys.
We usually just do all the same, the white breasted ones. We usually do the minimum, but man, every year I always lose half of them.
Okay.
Last 2 years I've lost half the turkeys. No matter if I order 12, I lost 6.
Yep.
If I order 10, I lose 5. But so this time I was like, I'm gonna order 20, but watch all of them live.
Right. I'm gonna raise ours with our egg. We're getting some new egg layers also. The egg layers will be. We'll have them for a few weeks, and then the turkeys will come in. So I'm going to put the turkeys in with the egg layer chicks. Because they say a lot of the times the chicks will teach the turkeys how to drink and how to eat because turkeys are just dumb. So, but then you get other people that are like, you can't have them together. They're going to give shared diseases or something. I'm like, yeah, we've done it before. So we'll just
you're going to get both of those worlds are going to collide.
They are. I'm going to get the comments, all of them.
And they're going to be like, what do I do? What do I do?
I can already hear them in my head.
I know. Yes. All right, so we'll end it there. I appreciate everyone listening and watching this podcast, and thank you guys so much for all the great comments. I mean, for the most part, I would say 99.9% of the comments are really awesome. And we really appreciate it, guys. All the positivity that you guys give us, and you guys seem to really enjoy these podcasts, so thank you so much. And hope you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel and leave a review on iTunes if you're listening there. But thank you guys for listening, and I hope you guys have an awesome week. We'll see you guys next week.
Catch you guys next week.
Later.